at 6:30 p.m. at Sandy Oaks City Hall, located at 4451 Hickory Haven, Sandy Oaks, Texas 78112, which will be live streamed and accessible to the public as provided below for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. All agenda items are subject to action. In an effort to advance the public health goal of limiting face-to-face meetings, also called social distancing, to slow the spread of coronavirus COVID-19, there will be no in-person public access to the meeting. The public may participate in the meeting by using the link and the meeting ID or by dialing in. The public will be permitted to offer public comments. However, nobody signed up for that. Okay. So I'll call this meeting to order. And will the members of the committee just mention their names?
Gustavo Godoy.
Ramirez. CJ Walker. Mickey Ball.
Christopher Maldonado.
All right. 4, update on action taken by City Council. Oh, I'm sorry. 2, Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, number 3 is citizens to be heard, and we have no citizens to be heard tonight. 4, update on action taken by City Council on May 14th. All right. I'm going to ask Mayor Ball to complete it. All right. I have it in front of me. I do have it in front of me. The electricity.
You want to talk about that?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'll tell you about what is going on with water and electricity for the facility. At the May 14th meeting, the council did approve the bid and awarded the bid for installing water and electric to the property, municipal complex up off of Priest and Waterwood Pass. As the agenda has now been published for Thursday's meeting, I can talk about this. There is an item on the agenda to rename that project. That project has been named Animal Control Facility. That is very confusing to some people in the community. But the reality of that project is that it is an infrastructure improvement to allow for the municipal building to have water and electric. I mean, in order to bring anything in, you have to have a meter and you have to have your power poles and you have to have all those things before you can connect anything to it. So the council approved what will become a new name. The council will decide that on Thursday. But there is a change order as part of that project that is, I'm expecting that today or tomorrow, but certainly by Thursday's meeting, and it will identify the very specific cost to connect the animal control facility to water and electric. So all of that 71,000 plus that has been floating around is not for animal control. It is an infrastructure property. There'll be a change order that will identify the specific cost to connect that facility to that infrastructure. Now, the other piece of that is, as of today, the notice to proceed was delivered to the contractor, and their expectation is to have all of the work completed in 30 days. So we hope to have that facility up and running short of, the other things that we need, like the shelter board, et cetera. But from an operational, we will have water and electric at that facility, assuming the council approves the change order that's going to be presented on Thursday.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know there's been an awful lot of confusion about what part of that is animal control versus the basic infrastructure for the city.
Well, and the reason that it was always referred to as animal control facility was in order for us to open the facility. That's what we kept calling it, because we needed to open the facility. But there's much more that goes on there. There's going to be the municipal building. There's other buildings on the property that perhaps sometime in the future we may want to connect water or electricity to. But we had to get the design done from an overall perspective. You can't come in and put in a water meter specific to that facility and then later put in another water meter for the municipal building. So we're going to call it an infrastructure project, and then we will connect the facility to that through a change order process.
Thank you, ma'am, Paul.
You're welcome.
Number 5, update on the Healthy Pets Clinic in May. The Healthy Pets Clinic in May, on the 23rd, I believe, I received an email. In an hour and a half, they saw 51 animals. That is incredible.
Do you want to talk about?
I will. That's next. That's next. Okay. Discuss and/or possible action on the use of the shops.
I like this.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
He's not that fancy.
I'm bad at that. The one thing that did occur is that we can no longer hold animal clinics at the shops. They need to be held elsewhere. Healthy Pets is struggling with that. They think that the 51 pets might be due to having it there. On the other hand, they also agreed that they had changed time to a later time in the day when more people are up and about instead of bright and early in the morning. It's also, it was also well advertised. And we also have signs. Are the signs up for the park, directing to the park?
Not yet.
Not yet. Will they be up within the next couple of weeks?
I would like them in the next couple of days. However, I'm unable to find anybody to fence the top for me.
Oh,
In addition, we haven't had a pet clinic
You know
in
why?
a while.
exactly.
Therefore,
That
a
was
lot
part of it,
people, were in need of
service. And we also,
add up the numbers.
that's very true. And then we also advertised to not just Sandy Oaks, we advertised to the wider community. And so the basic discussion. I guess so. Oh, not there.
You're out. It might run out of battery. The batteries are home.
Testing. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Rabbit ears. If we can continue, if we can arrange it for in the park, they're talking about August right now. And if we can arrange it for in the park, but do a massive campaign to get people there. The same with Penny Paws. They're not going to be allowed to set up there anymore. And so I don't know, Michelle's not here tonight, so I don't know the status on them. My understanding is they were coming the 3rd Saturday.
My thought was, as an alternate to the park, perhaps we could use the property.
I had contemplated that. My question about that is is the property, last time I was there was a great deal of construction equipment and that. No,
That's, and we wouldn't have it, if you've been
we
up
wouldn't have it
there.
that far back.
No. There's plenty of room to set up, and it's a good shaded area as well.
Right.
So, I mean, that's always an option, and it's close to the front entrance.
Right.
The only dilemma I have with that is we really are not set up for security yet.
Right.
And, you know, the more people that kind of know what's there, it may not be advantageous to us at this point.
That's why I was wondering about the park. We might also get people to realize that the park is here.
We're
There's
getting
still
a lot of activity here in the park, but
right.
But still, no, that would be I think that would be fine. We just need to make sure that the events are registered
on the calendar.
And we're going to change that, by the way. I don't like that.
So the question becomes, A, do we want to do it at the park? Do we want to do it at the property, the former Saws property? And what are you guys' thoughts?
As much as I would like to have it at the former Saws property, I think the park is probably better for now until we get some things in place up there.
That's what I was thinking.
And remember, they're going to be working up there, so we may have some construction issues. So it might not be advisable to do that right now.
And if we have the signs for the park, that was one of the concerns from Healthy Pet particularly, was people not knowing, because they put their sign at the front of by the Dollar General. And their concern is people won't know how to get here, and it'll be too much of a hassle for people, so they won't come. I think we can get the people in if we really push it.
We do need to get some signs up for those events, and where they're placing their sign by Dollar General is not a bad idea, because people are accustomed to seeing it there, but it needs additional signage saying where it's going to be at.
That was another part of their problem, was that they don't have any additional signage, so we would have to provide that.
Yeah. No, we would certainly do that. What we're intending to do for the signage is we have plenty. I can't find the chalkboard paint. I went down and they were totally sold out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I need to try that again. Catherine, would you make a note to check Home Depot for chalkboard paint?
And I'll get with Michelle and
do we know what the date is that they want to do the next one?
I don't for Healthy Pets. They were talking August, and they normally do it, I believe, the 3rd or 4th. I think they do it the 4th weekend in the month.
I think it's 3rd Sunday.
Penny Paws.
Oh, Penny Paws
is usually the 3rd Saturday.
Okay.
Speaking of them, I think it's them. We still have a banner that they put out right before the COVID outbreak, and then they canceled. Canceled it.
That's Penny Paws, yes.
But Penny Paws, we still have a banner there.
Oh, really? I'll let Michelle know.
You have it right there.
Oh, yes, I did.
Where?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
There it is, right there on the phone.
Yes, you folded it up.
Okay, make sure they know.
You're looking like I don't know what you're
And then it's going to be, Healthy Pets, I think we can talk them into it. They only come every 2 or 3 months. The question is going to be Penny Paws, because they really have been pushing to be either at the Dollar General or the shops. Are they going to be okay with being at the park? So I'll have to check with Michelle on that.
Yeah. The shops is just not an option, especially with the volume that they're getting in the last event. There were some issues.
And I totally agree with them. Part of my discussion on the use of the shops was I do think it would be appropriate. Didn't have time to get out and get one, but I do think it would be appropriate if we sent a thank you card to Mr. Gibbs for all the times he has supported the pet events and the vaccination clinics at the shops. Any thoughts, any objections?
I think that's a great idea, and I think we would have all the council and the Animal Control Advisory Committee members sign that.
I agree. All right. Any other discussion on that? Number 7, update on the animals currently at Oak Hills, Foster's, or other locations that are scheduled for or need rescue placement. Chris?
Ariel.
What animals do we have that are at Oak Hills or Foster's or anywhere else that might need rescue placement? Rescue placement.
Tuck? Okay. We have one pug that we picked up today, and we had one fostered out to one of the girls that works there at Oak Hills, and she has decided to keep that dog. So other than that, there's no other animals that we have currently.
And the pug, as I understand, is kind of on hold. Somebody's put dibs on it at the.
Yeah. Here in the park.
A bunch of their the light color. No, not that I know of.
Okay, so we have just the pug, and we're going to hold it for the 3 days.
Correct.
Okay.
If someone doesn't reclaim it within
Right.
those 3 days.
And then it has somebody with dibs.
Is it on the website? We've got.
It's on Pet Point, but it's not like listed as available, so it's not. No one can see it, but it's
Well, we need somebody, they need to be able to see it in case the owner's looking for it.
Right.
right. But when I put them in, I have to put them in as a new arrival, and then after those 3 days, it's available because it's not our dog. Yeah.
How do we advertise when
That's
somebody,
right.
when we have a dog in custody?
Well, since that happened, we just started putting available. But then another incident happened where the dogs picked up that day. We put available, and she saw that, and she got upset about it. And
Oh, I do remember that. I got a call.
yeah, so
Is there any way we can put, instead of available, put hold, but still put it up where it's visible?
Just wondering if there's
You know,
enough
3-day
spots.
hold or something
well,
like that.
if it's available, there can't be a hold on it.
Well, we need to be able to make it show like
So the owner
lost and found,
can-
found.
Could you show it like in Foster at the city?
As a foster, no.
Or, do you understand what I'm saying? But somehow the city has possession of the city.
Possession of it. Yeah. If it's available, that means we've had it for 3 days and not belongs to the city. But if it's a new arrival, it won't show on Pet Point. I mean, it won't show on Pet Tango. But like if y'all log in, y'all be able to see it. Except it won't be.
Yeah, but we need
owners to be able to look for their dogs.
Yeah.
Can we put like a picture of it on the website, like found?
And then for us to put it on next door so people will know that.
I think the only problem with that is it becomes a very manual process where Pet Point is an automated process. And that way he only has to touch one system to feed it. I think what we need to do is figure out a stat. Did you call, what's his name, Chris? Not Chris, Cliff? Who's the guy at Pet Point? Cliff? check with him and just see, because we should be able to show that we have an animal's been picked up. It's not available, but it's been picked up, it's in our possession. That's what we need to be able to show on that point. Okay. In the meantime, I guess if you can get you got a picture that you can send to me or somebody, and we'll circulate it in case somebody's looking for it. Okay. That would be great.
I was going to ask for an update on TNRs completed in May and upcoming TNRs. Chris has none, right? Okay. And that would really be information that I haven't gotten yet from Lori.
Would we
Who's
have
not
records
here.
though?
I was going to ask, I know that Lori keeps track of the ones that she handles. Steve, have you and Kat done any TNRs in the last couple of months?
Not in the last month, no.
Okay. The one part of that I was going to ask, and this actually applies to TNRs, is I was going to ask the volunteers that are involved in that to keep track of their hours and mine's on. To keep track of their hours and to keep track of their mileage and their expenses. I heard recently about a program that we as a city, our shelter might actually qualify for, and it's based on the number of volunteer hours and other monies and expenses that volunteers put forth. Not Chris or the mayor or myself, but volunteers in the city. And I'm going to look into it some more. You know, it's like a one time a year annual, almost a reimbursement, a match, and that could be helpful. You know, so I'm going to look into that some more. But it would also be interesting to see all of our different volunteers, TNRs, adoptions, rescues, all the phone calls, etc., to see how much time volunteers are actually spending. Because I know it's a lot more than everybody thinks. It's way more than people think. Oh, yeah. Oh, I heard. All right. So I'll have to
Can I
find
ask a
out.
question?
Yeah.
So, those cats that, this Lori, what is her name? Does the city pay for those cats being TNR, or how does that work?
No,
She's doing it herself.
they do a few
So
of
how-
themselves.
How are we involved or not?
We actually are not. However, if they were not paying out of pocket, they were not volunteering to be involved in this, they are still feral cats, not on their property either, that they are paying for, nor on the neighbor's property that they are paying for. So the city would be, those feral cats would fall into a feral cat colony for the city. That's my understanding
I was
anyway.
under the impression that we weren't taking care of a certain number of the city, I mean, taking care of a certain number.
I think
Yeah.
We can discuss that.
No, yeah, we're working with them, but I didn't know that they were still picking any up. And
But they're also
TNRing
doing
them
some out of
on-
pocket, yeah,
Yeah,
on their own.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
If they are doing it without my knowledge, those cats ain't being logged in, those cats ain't, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's an issue for people that see, why are we spending money on pretty much nothing? There's no evidence to show that there's a cat being TNR,
Mhm.
except for the receipts, but you know.
And it's important, and I thought that we explained that to everybody who wanted to be involved in that, if you want to do it outside of the city, that's fine. But if you want the city to pay for it, the CAT has to be intake through Chris and scheduled. That way we have a record of all of that. We can't reimburse somebody after the fact. And I know that Stephen and Kat have been real good about setting traps and notifying Chris. He picks them up, and then they'll get the joy of having them back.
And this is Lori Cherry that I'm talking about. So she's familiar with the TNR program. And I don't know how many Chris has picked up, but from them, from Janet and Lori. Oh, have you really?
Yeah.
Okay. So they are calling you then?
Well, they used to back before we happened. Yeah.
Before the COVID.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Not only that, but there's a hospital right closer to them on that same street. That
Right.
She calls me a lot as well.
And I don't know about the other feral cat colony at the boys' house down Skilla from me.
Oh, at the corner, almost at the corner.
Right.
Has anybody talked to them?
Yes, and I don't remember the outcome. I'll touch base with them myself.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'll stop by there and talk to them.
Okay.
I know when they moved in, the house came with, I think, 30-something cats. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. All right, I'll try to stop by this evening then and see if they're home.
I'm sorry, I was not paying too much attention. So with this, is it still going to be Chris's responsibility to take volunteers, or do we have volunteers doing it after we intake them? Because he's our only guy now. Well, the animal that can do
Animal control.
Animal
Yes.
control. Yeah.
to be able to intake animals.
I think we need to relook at the TNR program and the numbers and talk to some of the different volunteers.
And I know that I have volunteered, like on my way home, I would just stop and pick them up because it's kind of on my way. So, if someone can drop them off. And how many are we doing? What did we decide on?
We said that in 3 months we could do 50, I believe is what we calculated out based on the discussion. I think we might need to drop that a little because I kind of think that at $20 per TNR, if we're doing 50 and a quarter, that's $1,000 each quarter.
I was going to say, with the budget constraints that we're working under due to COVID-19, at least through the end of September, we really do need to watch our expenditures. So 1,000.
A lot for 3 months.
It is a lot for 3 months. We might want to cut it back, but we don't want to create a problem.
No. We don't want to wind up with double or triple the number of cats.
Exactly. If we're making progress on that, we probably need to continue that progress. Exactly. Right. Yeah, we were trying to not, bogart it.
Yeah.
We don't want to overwhelm
Take advantage
Chris
of
or the volunteers either
Right.
that might agree to help.
Back when we could, was taking them down. She was hoping.
Right.
You know who that was that
Janet or Lori.
Yeah, one of the
Either
other
or.
ones, I think one time he picked them up. Yeah, he picked it up and we went to drop it off.
I know what a convenience it is, right there at Brooks. I just, would hope that people would keep, an open mind and know that, you can take them for free if you go to 151. I know it's a drive, but, it saves a lot of money.
That would involve a volunteer, I think, being willing to put in the time and the gas.
And that's a pretty good haul from here.
Yeah. Now, if there's somebody that goes to work early there, out there,
Well,
True.
We've all been there.
true. I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying though. All right. Do we have any other discussion on that at the moment? On TNRs? I do know that, I need to get with Janet because she was putting together the procedures and the benefits. It was Janet, yeah. All right, 9, discuss and/or possible action on scheduling vaccination and microchip clinic. Michelle's not here. Okay, we know we have Penny Paws coming the 3rd Saturday, unless they have an issue with coming to the park. And I'll clarify that. We really need to have another microchip clinic, but we need to schedule it and make sure the pavilion is available and make sure we have enough volunteers to help intake. What all did we do last time? You were there, Julie, right, with your family? It's the intake, filling out the forms, doing the actual microchipping, and release. So that would be the question. Can we get enough volunteers? And do we have somebody who's willing to do the microchipping?
That looks like fear.
I was gonna say, could we twist an arm over there?
Do we think we could ask our friend? We could ask.
Okay.
And maybe between the two of them.
And find and maybe they could figure out the best day that the pavilion is available. And then they, I could talk to Michelle, but they have their own microchipping, and I can't remember if it's $35 or $40.
Right.
And I think that might be pushing the envelope.
I think so, yeah, because I think that's a profit center for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think that includes registration.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I don't think it does. Okay, so Chris and Julie, you want to work on figuring out the best date and who can do the microchipping, and we'll see about filling in enough volunteers to assist. We have to make sure the pavilion is available, whatever day is chosen. Okay. And we'll probably, because it's hot, we need to have water available and such.
Maybe one of those big fans.
I saw one that when we go over there.
We need one of those.
Me too.
Yeah, it's hot. It gets still hot.
Not right now.
Someone to assist and supplies. So we'd need a heads up. We'd need a meeting or two and time enough to get in front of council and get supplies if they come to too much of an expense. Anything anybody wants to add to that?
Am I correct? We would not need council's approval for a date, correct? We would not need council's approval for a date, correct?
No,
Okay, that would
No,
only be if
it's
we.
only for if we need
For spending
supplies.
money.
Yeah, for spending money like, water and things like that. I'm not sure all that we need. We would need to know that the pavilion is available, whatever time slot we do. And that we have enough volunteers to assist whoever's doing the microchipping. All right. Okay. All right, 10, discuss and/or possible action on recommending to City Council Dr. Hill at Oak Hills as the veterinarian this is for the shelter committee.
Has he agreed to do that?
He did, didn't he, Chris?
Yeah.
Don't give me that. He did, didn't he? Yes, okay.
He did? Okay, I
Yes.
thought he hadn't not committed.
I'm
But
going
that's
by
been-
what Chris said.
That's been a while back.
Yeah.
Okay, because I have someone else also looking, just in case
Oh,
you need
okay.
someone.
Okay.
Any closer?
So we need a confirmation. So we need a confirmation from Dr. Hill that he is agreeable and any stipulations.
Is there a letter we can give him and he can sign? So we can,
I think it has to go before council to,
well, it's just like,
which is the order, proper order.
Is he asking for a letter?
no, I'm just saying like, so we can show.
So I will tell you my experience with Dr. Hill. If you put a piece of paper in front of him, he's probably not interested. He's very much old-fashioned handshake. We have an agreement. I said I'd do this, I'll do that. But if you want him to sign a contract or sign a piece of paper, it's not going to happen.
One of the things we need to know is, I know that some vets will charge for their time to be
Mhm.
involved in something like this, and we need to know that information.
We would need to know that.
And so the question becomes, do we present his name to City Council first and have City Council agree and make the offer or extend that? Or do we get that information from him first and bring it to council? There is no clear direction in the guidelines.
So my recommendation would be that a conversation needs to be had with him and ask those very questions. And there will be, he won't have to sign anything, but council, we need the agreement. What is he agreeable to from a cost perspective? Council could then approve that. It would be a matter of public record on what was agreed to. It would be in the minutes, so he wouldn't need to sign anything. But I'm also going to recommend that you check with Ms. Ortiz.
Just for safety.
Yes. Because he's only serving in an advisory capacity on the shelter board, as I understand it. So there's no.
Well, the one thing he does have to do once a year is a facility inspection.
Exactly. But I mean, there's no liability because of treatment of any animals in that capacity that
Not
he
in
would
that
function.
capacity.
Okay.
And he needs to attend a minimum of 3 meetings. He does. A year.
Okay.
Okay, so let me talk to Cassandra first. Ms. Ortiz first. The next one was we also need someone from the animal welfare organization. Chris, did you tell me that there was somebody that was interested, that was involved in an animal rescue welfare organization? Was that you?
Yes, she doesn't work for us. She volunteers her time a lot to Charming Pet over there in Bernie. She's across the highway. Her name is Lita. she has a great concern for animals, and she, I mean, you can tell she's really into it. So I think she'd be good. I'm not sure how involved she is in trying pet, but she says she's not actually like affiliated with them. She knows the owner very well.
Better find that one with Miss Ortiz also.
Well, it was clarified with her, and she said if she's got that capacity of always dealing with him and having that kind of connection, she doesn't see a problem with that. So.
Because I have not been able to find it. What's her name again? Lita?
Lita?
Because I have not been able to find another person that would fill the people I have asked are too busy volunteering their time to other issues.
Yeah, and she's right across the street. I mean, the highway.
The highway.
I give her a call and she'll help me out in any way if need to.
The other thing is, I think Melissa and Laura work with the Helotus organization.
Ray Cherry?
No, Melissa and Laura.
Oh, yeah.
I think they work with Helotus. Just as working with the organization, not that they work there, but they have a very good relationship with that. Just as another option.
Might be a good one. All right. Let me check with them and let me check with them first, since they live here in the city and have already volunteered and worked with the Animal Control Advisory Committee before.
I would recommend that, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but he brought somebody that's not in the city. It might be advisable to maybe have someone from outside.
That's a good point.
Because
And that
some of the-
position can be somebody from outside. We
Exactly,
wrote
it
it
does
that
not
way
have to be
intentionally.
here. If they're willing to do it.
If they're willing to do it. All right. Is that agreeable with everybody to start with the woman that Chris recommended that's across the highway? Check with her first on her. This is for recommendation to City Council for the two positions on the Animal Control Shelter Committee. Just so nobody gets it confused. All right. I don't know if the next two we can actually do, or if I need to pull them. 11 is discuss and/or possible action on costs for dewormer, flea and tick, parvo test kits, and any other vaccination care supplies that staff or volunteers at the shelter can handle. We had talked about this at one of our last meetings in regards to particularly the parvo test kits, so that animals could be tested before they got put into the kennel. No chance of spreading contamination, yeah. My notes show that was, Michelle was going to look into that. Do I have that correct? Has anybody else looked into it? Okay. So I'll check on that. And then I did see notes.
Do you know where to source those items if we needed them?
I can figure it out.
Okay. And the dewormer, flea and tick, when I was reading over old committee meeting minutes, that had already been approved.
The purchase.
The purchase had already been approved. Now I would think we would need to bring that back along with the parvo test kits to council with the pricing.
Right. I would need that within the next day or two, the pricing. And the reason is the agenda on Thursday is going to be a budget amendment, and we're having to adjust for truing it up to finish out the end of the year. So I need to put some additional funds on that line, I need to know about how much.
A lot of the flea and tick stuff's based off of weight. If we have a scale or something to weigh the animals.
We have a scale, but it's not one of those on the floor. It's not industrial. You know what I mean? Like the one at Oak Hills. It's not like that. We have one that hangs from like a limb or something. And you either have to put the animal, whatever it is, in a sack so it can hold it, and you'll find out the weight. Or you can just guesstimate and hold it up like that.
You have to wrangle it, you have to wrangle it first.
They're pretty expensive.
Traumatize the poor animal.
Yeah.
So you need to make a note for, supplies as the facility comes online. These are things that we're going to be needing. A scale would be
High up there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty high up there. But that was a good point, Gus, because
Yeah.
different supplies for different sizes.
I'm glad you came.
So, Chris, do you have time in the next day or two? I think so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's been pretty busy.
The reason I was asking Chris in particular, if he had time to look pricing up, was I didn't know if Chris already knew of some veterinary supply warehouse that you're used to working with or anything.
So, Chris, I would recommend that you reach out to the Bear County Animal Control. I think her name is Christine. Is it Christine? Andy Winter would be, and if you don't have his number, I do. We can buy off their contract.
Oh,
Yes. So she could tell you, kind of help you out with helping identify what we would need, a good starter set or something. But yeah, we could certainly buy off their contract.
I know I briefly looked at parvo test kits. I was assuming there was probably someplace cheaper to get them from in bulk. And some of it was saying about temperature. So, we can't have them in a too hot or too cold of an environment. They have to be stored away safely and the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the next question is, do we have something?
The facility is AC, it has AC control, climate control.
And we have a location in the facility that we could put things like that.
Like what?
Like the
supplies,
the parvo test kits and the
If we make
kit.
shelves, we can have things shelved up there, but as of right now, no.
Okay. My next question for animal control involves the same thing. I just said other vaccinations or care supplies that staff or volunteers at the shelter could handle. Are there other testing that would be beneficial for us to do at our facility that does not require a vet? Similar to the parvo testing. Or do we have to be concerned about, Bordetella, kennel cough,
Distemper.
distemper, things like that? Is that some place where, from an animal control perspective in a shelter, we need to be concerned about?
This is my thought on that. Let's get the shelter board in place. Dr. Hill would be an excellent resource to answer those questions for us, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wouldn't recommend putting them anywhere that's accessible to anybody. Don't keep them with, locked behind 3 doors or 2 locks.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly recommended.
But the parvo test kits, the dewormer, the tick flea, we can still move forward on those because you're going to need them as soon as the shelter opens.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. So I'll leave that in your capable hands. And the next one, I think we need to hold off on Number 12, discuss and/or possible action on volunteers for the animal control department and shelter. I think that becomes more of a shelter committee discussion. We already have some waiver forms for involvement by volunteers. And I am working on, and I will need Chris's involvement. I'm working on a better guide for the volunteers and also the policies, which I will need Chris's heavy input on some of this.
And I know we're not gonna get it right the first time, it's gonna change. So-
Yes, I know this. We need a rough draft to present,
Correct.
and that involves the volunteers. So I think we need to hold that one for tonight. Okay. Unless anybody had any comments on it. No? Okay, good. And number 13 is adjourned.
And the time?
And the time is 7:40.
7:40.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, we did that.